is up, everybody? This is your boy Flash, aka Malachai36 from At Least We Tried Gaming, aka ALWT Gaming. I am here with Gravity-Mark 2 on a Saturday. First time ever doing all-day anime, which is the new time. New is you. You know what I mean? Gravity-Mark 2, how are you doing today on this day of days?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Get to wrap up my day with talking about some anime, and can't really complain about that. And what else could you want?
Heard that. And everyone that has been missing this too as well. As you guys already know, previously we were about 15 episodes into all day anime. We've been doing this every Sunday at noon until 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There has been some altercations to the schedule, so now this is the first one again for 9:30 on a Saturday. We're just going to go 9:30 to 10. Next week, however, is going to go 9:30 to 10:30, and we're just going to kind of do like a little trial run. We're going to see how this goes, see how it feels, see how it flows, see if we're able to do this, and see who all is interested in a Saturday night versus a early Sunday morning. So we're going to kind of go with that, and we have to kick it off right on a Saturday night, and that is discussing Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train. Yes.
So, made its way here. It made its way to us.
Yep. In the flesh. Very exciting stuff. I have to ask, though. Were you expecting this level of hypeness when you went to go ahead and saw the trailer? Were you expecting it to be the way that it was for you?
I'll say this: my level of excitement for the movie was like I was definitely excited, but it wasn't until like it actually started that like my level of hype like shot back up. And I was just like in especially like with everything with like with theaters, with COVID, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that you just got to make sure that you're following.
Yeah.
Like I will say this, like there was like as we were going to the theater to watch this, like just before it started, we were like, oh, this is nice, and then like some this loud group of kids like just like walked in front of us and just sat like in the entire row in front of us, and thankfully like when the movie started they quieted down, but I was just like for like a split second like I was about ready to just rage, because I don't know about you, but like especially when it comes to anime movies, they get like 4 days here in the US, like if that.
Yeah.
Like, it's very selective. You don't get a lot of time to be able to watch these movies, and if you have like a bad experience, you might not have a chance to like be able to watch it. It's not like you can be like, oh, like I'll watch it next week or like 2 weeks from now. Like no, you get like 3-4 days tops. Like you get like very selective theater locations. You get very selective time slots. So like I was about ready to like go off, but like thankfully they quieted down. I was like, good. But yeah, because like I'm thinking back of like when I first like got super hyped for it. It was like at the very end of the first season, like when they kind of like show the Mugen Train, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a movie. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I love me my movies. Like don't get me wrong. Like I absolutely love anime, and sometimes like the only downside to movies sometimes is just the amount of time it takes to get that out there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just like, oh, like I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait like a year and a half or so for this to continue. But at the same time, like yeah, as soon as I got in my seat, and as soon as like it actually started, my level of excitement was just like up here. Like I felt like a little kid. I was like, it was great.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm right there with you, man. Before I tell you my particular expectations for it, David MTZ 7003 comment inside the chat says that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of people being loud as hell while watching. LOL. Yeah, that's never a fun thing. But as Gravity-Mark just said, I agree. When it comes down to anime movies, it's only here for a limited time. Even the most popular ones like Dragon Ball Z or even My Hero Academia, those are only here for a limited time. So it's just kind of it gets a little bit more on edge when that happens. I already said last week, actually this past Sunday, how my Sword Art Online experience went when I drove all the way to Cleveland to watch the Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale movie. You know what I mean? Someone's trying to talk. Someone's trying to talk to me. Yeah, I had to shut that stuff down real quick because one, it's Sword Art Online. Two, I drove 3.5 hours to come watch this movie. And three, it's an anime movie. It's not coming back out again, at least not anytime soon. Luckily for me, I own the movie now, so I can watch as many times as I want. But it's just like, at that moment, I don't know what's going to happen. Everything's new to me. If you didn't watch the anime, you probably should have watched that before you came to watch this movie. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, and especially with the Demon Slayer movie, like you needed to watch the movie before you go into it. But kind of going off of what you were saying with anime movies, like especially because it's an anime movie, like some people like might be there and they don't. And you even said this with your Ordinal Scale experience. Sometimes like people are there and they don't even know what's going on.
Yeah,
like they're just there to watch it, or like maybe like their friend took them, or maybe like their significant other took them who's really into it. Maybe they don't know what's going on. They can sometimes like people can be a little disrespectful and just kind of like be like, oh well, whatever, like it's just a dumb cartoon movie, like it doesn't matter. It's just like, let me slap you upside the head. No, like I've been waiting 1.5 years for this movie. Yeah. Like I will buy your ticket. Like how much did you pay? Like I spent $15 on my seat alone. I will pay 2 of your seats. Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yep. But I mean, like you said it. I was very excited. I was bummed when I saw that all it was in before was Japan at the end of last year. So Japan's been sitting on this gem for months now, and yeah, and it ultimately I definitely did appreciate the movie for what it was. I definitely appreciated how it's going to go. It definitely kind of got you to just get a good grasp of the Ashira or the Hashira. And anyone that is currently watching this right now, we're not going to do spoilers. I was thinking about doing spoilers before, but again, the anime is still currently out there. It's still fresh. It's new. I don't want to spoil this for anybody. I want you guys to go see it for yourself because these
spoiler free.
Yeah, this is gonna be. I mean, we're going to talk about the movie a little bit and stuff like that. We are going to describe some stuff that you probably saw inside the trailer and how we felt and how certain things went down. And we only got about another 24 minutes to discuss all this. But still, ultimately, we'll make sure you guys that's watching right now, this is going to be spoiler free completely. And if you guys have any comments about that as well, like if you guys want to give your personal ratings out there, you can feel free to go ahead and throw some inside the comments. If you guys are on Anchor or Spotify and listen to this as a podcast later, feel free to send us an email at leastwetried.gaming@gmail.com, or you guys can visit our website, message us there at www.alwtgaming.com, and just throw in your ratings. Tell us what you think about the movie. But yeah, I've been excited this whole time. I've been very, very excited, and I cannot wait for let's go ahead and allow that. I don't know why that would have been yeah, sorry, it was something was being blocked, and I think that's fine. But anyway, David MTZ inside the chat says, yeah, I already read the manga before watching it, but still blew me away and amazed me.
See, my man, yeah. I was you know what, I was just talking about how I picked up the manga sometime like after I finished watching the first season, and I stopped right. I can actually tell you like the exact chapter I stopped at. I stopped like just before they went up to the mountain with all the spider people. Like it was chapter 28 is what I got up to. So like I actually just picked up the manga again. So I'm kind of starting to go through it. But I was really tempted, like in the gap between like the end of the first season and the movie, I was so tempted to read the manga to find out what happens, and I was just like I'm fine. At the time I was catching up on like My Hero, I was catching up on Black Clover, I was catching up on One Punch Man, so I had a lot of stuff I was catching up on, so I was just like Demon Slayer will be fine. But I'm really excited, like now that I've seen the movie, I'm really excited to like check out the manga and see what that's like.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it, the illustration was fantastic. The way they kind of introduced
art is amazing.
Yeah, the way that they introduced Rengoku, and like I mean, you've seen Rengoku towards the end of season 1 for the series, so you guys get to see all the rest of the Hashiras and everything like that, and they are all like they just have this presence about them that's just pure power, pure strength, and it's pretty intense. But the movie, you can see more of what Rengoku can do, what he's about, and everything like that. He's had that confidence, that sense of justice. Like, he definitely seems to be, and I still have to find out. I can't remember if, and I think me and you talked about this. I don't know if Rengoku was the quote unquote leader of the Hashiras, behind the blind master, of course. So I'm just kind of.
Did the Hashiras even have a leader, or was it just like they were just a group, and like the head person like was like the leader of all of them?
I mean, the head person is definitely the leader of all of them. But I could have sworn there was like one that was like considered the strongest, or one that is considered like the head of it. And I think it's Rengoku. I would have to rewatch that again. But I think it's Rengoku. I think he was the one that was like the leader of them all. And David, I mean, you're inside the chat. You read the manga. Correct us if we're wrong. Feel free to throw it inside the chat. Anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think the movie was absolutely spectacular. Like I said, the graphics were awesome. I love the way that they kind of did panned out the plot line for that. It was like an hour and 40 minutes long. Hour and 40 minutes long of greatness. I think plot line wise, I wish that there was more explanation of the final villain. I'm not going to give anything away on that, but I wish there was more explanation on the final villain, because it just came out of nowhere. Like,
you hit the nail on the head. Sorry to jump in there, but like you hit the nail on the head. That was my thought exactly. Like, with the final villain, like they're just really, there was no foreshadowing with it whatsoever. Like, he just popped up, and while I thought that he was, I found his character to be very interesting, and I found the final fight to be like, it was really good. It was still it just kind of came out of left field, and it felt like the movie, honestly, like narratively speaking, like should have ended like 20 to 30 minutes before that.
Technically, yeah.
So it just
it would have, yeah.
Like it felt like it should have just ended there, and then it felt like they were just like, I feel like we're missing something. They're like, oh, you know what? Let's just throw this in there. And it felt a little disjointed. I was just like, oh, okay, this feels like a whole separate thing from this. And honestly, like, I feel like if they would have had it in an anime format, if they just had it, like, if they just took the movie, just put it in like regular episodes, I feel like I would have liked it just as much. But at the same time, there's the level of quality that they put into the animation, the level of quality that they put into the voice acting. I personally watched the subtitled, so I had all the Japanese voice actors, so they did an amazing job. Honestly, like the whole thing, and even like just the environment of being in a theater, like it just kind of like made the whole experience for me like really great. That like just you couldn't get from an actual anime. But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was like one of my first thoughts. I was like, oh, this was a little out of nowhere.
Yeah, and the only thing that kind of brought it back home to that it was recognizable that this is who this is because inside season 1 you find out that there's different tiers of demons, and that's the only reference we really got. Outside of that, it literally came out of literally left field. We had no idea what was happening there. David inside the chat says, there's no real leader besides the blind man, but there is a strongest pillar than the rest of them. And the rest of them recognizes them as the strongest pillar. But I don't know if y'all want me to say who it is. That's not too spoilery, so if you want to go ahead and throw that out there, just sort of confirmation from us, you're welcome to go ahead and do that. I thought it was Rengoku, but someone else had told me that it was Guy, the very first person that you meet. So someone had told me that it was him. I feel like it was said, and I feel like I may be just missing it. But yeah, that's not too spoilery. So if you want to throw that inside the chat, feel free to do so. But I mean, like, it's the stone pillar.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that guy is a mountain.
The huge guy. Okay.
Yeah, he is a mountain of a man.
Okay. Yeah. So that would actually make sense too. So that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. The only thing that I dread, and I know we talked about this a little bit, and it makes sense of why directors would go this route. The only thing that I dread is for season 2, just because of how pivotal that this movie was to the plot of season 1 and bridging that gap between season 1 and season 2. I don't think it's going to bridge the gap. I think it's literally going to be the first 15-20 episodes of season 2. That's what I think Demon Slayer is going to do. I think the writers, just because they did the same thing. Now, obviously different writers, but they did the same thing for Dragon Ball Z, to where if you didn't watch the Battle of the Gods, they covered that in like the first 20 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, and you got the gist of Battle of the Gods. Same thing for Revival of F. Like, they covered that in the first. Well, now I can't even say first. It's like the next set right after that was like the next set of 20 was the Revival of F movie. And
it was a lot.
Yeah, and it was just stuff like that. Like, I was like, I kind of, and I'm wondering if Dragon Ball Z did that as like a test to see how many people were still interested in Dragon Ball Z. And I'm wondering if that's why they came up with the movies, and then they're like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and make Super, or if that was always the plan. But and like, if that's the case, then I'm very excited for what Demon Slayer is gonna have, because that would give me more hope that they're not just gonna be like, all right, well, now we have the movie out. Go ahead and throw in the movie as the next 20 episodes, and then we'll start moving on with season 2. Like that, I will feel, me personally as a person that did watch the movie, will feel shortchanged if they did that. But at the same time, I get it. Not everyone's able to watch the movie. Not everyone had the money to, or had the time to, or whatever. They want to make sure that you're not missing out or lost in this content. Go ahead and throw it there in the first 20 episodes. I get that.
It's going to be really off-putting.
Yeah, yeah, and again, that's just going to be off-putting for the people that did watch it. I kind of hope if they have to do anything with the movie in season 2, I kind of hope that all they do is kind of show like flashbacks of the important things that happen, not make episode, like drawing it out for the first 15 episodes, so that way they can make more material at the end. I'm hoping that that's how that would kind of go.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought that up, because that was something that, like, you and I were like pretty much on the same wavelength in terms of like talking about how they really could have just taken this movie and they really could have just segmented it into episodes of an anime, and it would have worked very, very well. But I stopped right there, and you took it one step further. We're like, no, they'll probably just, there's a good chance that they might just like completely retell it in the anime of season 2. I'm not gonna lie, I got really mad for a second. I was like, they better not. They better not. Like, I'm gonna be so mad if they do, because like ultimately, it's like they did such a great job telling the story. They don't need to tell it again. My concern with that would be like, if they do, they're probably gonna do what Dragon Ball did, which is add in like all of this extra stuff that just doesn't matter. And the other thing is that like, the quality of the movie was great. The animation, the Sakuga, it was all really, really good. And my thing is like, I don't want a downscaled version of that. Like, don't give me that. Like, don't waste all of this money and time and effort that you put into this movie just to waste more time, effort, and money on a less impressive version of it. Yeah. No, unless there's some stuff in the manga that was told that the movie didn't tell, in which case, if the series is going to fill in those gaps and add in that extra information, I'd be fine with that. But all in all, like, just as somebody who really has only watched mostly the anime up to this point, it fits so well. And as somebody like I'm actually like fully, speaking of Super, like I'm fully caught up with the manga of Super. Like I like the most recent chapter that came out like last week, I read that. And with Super, at least like with the manga, they retold Battle of Gods, I think. If I'm not I think they retold Battle of Gods. They skipped over Resurrection F, technically, because like they did have Toyotaro do like a 4-chapter like run of like the first half of the Resurrection F movie as like a special, but they kind of like skipped over Resurrection F in the manga and they just kind of kept going. But in the manga, they actually skipped over Broly. So, like,
really?
The events of the Broly movie. Yeah, so in the manga, they have all the things. They go all the way up to the Tournament of Power arc, and then as soon as the Tournament of Power arc ends, they actually have a panel that actually does show Goku and Vegeta like fighting Broly, and they reference that they fought Broly, but they kind of like reference it. It's like, oh, like that happened already, and then they jump into the next arc.
Huh. And I wonder if they
And
did
so
that. I wonder if they did that to try to entice people to watch the movie, because that movie was freaking amazing.
It was amazing. And that's really what I kind of hope happens like with the Demon Slayer anime, is that they're just like, yeah, this happens. It is pivotal to the plot. So if you want to know what's going on, go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that, like, especially if they get to a point where they put the movie out on like Funimation, or I think I was reading something recently that was talking about Netflix getting the exclusive rights. I'd have to double check on
For
that.
Demon Slayer?
Yeah, I think it might be the dub, because like the English sub is still on Funimation, but I think so is the dub.
Yeah,
I'd have to look it up, because like I'm not a huge fan of Netflix jail, so
yeah,
I'm not a fan of Netflix like buying up all these like anime titles and then just kind of holding on to them.
I don't mind that if they release the crap. Like I want to see it sooner.
They
sooner
release
than later.
it. Where's the most recent season of Seven Deadly Sins?
Yeah,
they have the rights to that.
Yeah.
It's already pretty much aired. Where is it?
Yeah.
Why is it not up there? What's the hurt? What's the problem? What's the delay?
Well, I'm wondering now that one, and I will give Netflix a pass if Seven Deadly Sins, because right now it's ongoing, and it's on and anyone that's watching this right now too as well. If you guys are trying to watch the Seven Deadly Sins series, you guys can actually go to our YouTube page. Just type in At Least We Try Gaming or ALWT Gaming, and it's actually on our playlist. We have a Seven Deadly Sins playlist that's currently out. You guys can get fully caught up on Seven Deadly Sins. That's animes that's being dropped right now. And I'm wondering if that's part of the contract. I'm wondering if they have to wait until it's done completely in Japan, and then they just give all the episodes to Netflix, and then maybe a month or two later, that's when they'll drop it. That's what I'm hoping for.
I could see that, but like at the same time, like you can look at some of their other series that they have up there. Like they've had like other shows that they've had where they've updated stuff weekly.
Yeah.
And, like Netflix, I understand, is like known for binging, and if they want to kind of perpetuate that, like that binge culture, that's fine. But like, I don't know. Like at the very least, just like put something out. Like it just kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you already know how I feel about Shaman King. They got the rights to Shaman King.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm just like, man, like, do I have to wait now until like Shaman King is done just to see it like legally here, like through like a like the legal way? Because like I don't want to have to go to a shady site to watch Shaman King. I've been avoiding every single piece of information that I can about Shaman King, and it keeps popping up in my feed, and I'm like, stop it, go away. I don't want to hear the opening yet. I want to hear the opening when I'm actually like ready to watch it. And I'm like, ugh. Like anyway, like what I hope that they do is I really hope that with the second season they just start right after the events in the movie. And I really hope that like by the time that they're ready to air the second season, the movie has already played in theaters, giving people plenty of time to go see it, and they put it up on like Funimation or Crunchyroll or Netflix or something. Like they make it available for people to watch, so that way like once season 2 comes out, they're like, hey, it's out there, you can stream it at any time, there's no excuse for you to not know what's going on.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the route that I hope they go down.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. David MTZ inside the chat also says the movie was surprisingly funny. Yes, I think it was definitely had its moments for sure. What's the Lightning kid's name? Zenitsu? Is that his name?
Zenitsu.
Yeah. Like
Zenitsu.
He is something else. I gotta say, he is something else.
Zenitsu in that movie, holy.
Yeah, man, he was cracking me up when they were like, well, you know what? That's spoilery. I'm not gonna get there, but yeah, he is funny. Let me ask you this. There's one part that I want to ask you what your favorite part was, but of course we don't want to give away or anything like that. I'm going to go with mine first, and I'm going to ask you. My favorite part was when a particular scenario happens to where Tanjiro had a nightmare in his head about his family, and he lost his marbles, man. And he went off. That was a super dope moment for me. I absolutely loved that part inside the movie because like Tanjiro always has a smile on his face, or he might have a sense of concern. That was the first time I seen Tanjiro fully on pissed off. Like I'm talking Goku just saw Krillin get killed pissed. Like I was very excited about that part, and I can't wait for everybody else to watch the movie to see what I'm talking about. What's your thoughts about that part? What was your favorite hype moment without trying to give away too much?
So I'll try to I'll make a comment. I'll say that, but I want to comment on what yours was really quick because I got that hit me so bad when I saw that. Yeah. Like as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, no, they're not doing that. Like they're really doing that. Like you're gonna. Oh my gosh, that's so mean. Why would you do that to him? Mm-hmm. You can't do that to him. Like he, like, and that's the thing. Like he completely like reverts to like his younger self too, and it's just it's a whole thing, and I'm almost tearing up watching it. So that's the thing. I didn't tear up when I watched the movie, but like when I think back to the movie, I tear up a little bit. Mm-hmm. When Abs and I went to go see it, like Abs teared up at the end. Yeah. She was like, did you tear up? I'm like, no. She's like, why not? Really? No. Like, no.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, my favorite part has got to be, oh geez, like I have like 3 different parts. Like one of them is definitely one with Zenitsu, where he's doing a particular part where he's doing something pretty cool. He's kind of going off. It looks really cool. Mm-hmm. I think I know which part I think you know which part.
Yes, I did.
Another part was where a particular character is, kind of like in a dream state.
Yeah. Okay.
And
yeah.
And they're trying to find something very specific of Tanjiro's, and the person just breaks down and cries, and they're just like, what is all of this? This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. And this person just has this breakdown, and I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. That's awesome. Like it speaks to Tanjiro's character so much. And I've got to say, the other main part that I've really got to say is my favorite up there is probably like one of the last fights, not the very last fight, but like the last fight against like while on the train.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a particular villain, there's a particular antagonist who has a particular ability to do a particular thing to the character.
Yeah.
And the way that, and this is against Tanjiro, but the way that he's able to fight against that ability was nuts.
Yeah.
Just the constant being able to just get back into the fight
repetitively, just repeating
repetitively, and because he had to keep doing it so much. Eventually, I can never remember the boarhead guy's name.
Oh yeah, and there's
Inosuke.
Yeah. Well, he said it. Yeah, Inosuke. Yeah.
Inosuke. Yeah, because Inosuke had to grab him at one point and be like, "Hey, like you're good. Like this is like we're here. Like don't do that."
Right.
And I said, and you know what? Like on one hand, like I apologize that like we're sounding so cryptic right now. We sound like there was a particular scene where a particular character was doing a particular thing with another particular character, and there was a particular feeling that we were getting from watching this particular scene. We sound so cryptic. But if we said anything more, it would spoil it. And we don't want to spoil that for you guys. Like we want you to have as fresh of an experience as possible, and if anything, like just watching it and maybe just remembering this and be like, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about.
100%. Yeah.
I can't pick one. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, David MTZ inside the chat says my favorite part was Tanjiro's and Inosuke's speech after the final fight of the movie. That was a very
Oh no!
Yeah. That was something. That's all I'll say because I don't.
It was absolutely something.
Yeah, it was definitely something. Hopefully, here in like the next week or two, when we do the next all-day anime, again, just as a reminder, it's gonna be 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday night for a trial run. We're going to see how we like it, but hopefully, we can read this up and then have like a spoiler cast mode of Demon Slayer Mugen Train, because we want to make sure everyone has enough time to watch it and enjoy it. Anyone that's been keeping up with Demon Slayer, for sure. If you guys have not seen this movie, you guys probably saw it inside the thumbnail. If you guys haven't, we both agree 9 out of 10. That's our rating for it.
Easy 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I will definitely say the flaw that it probably does have is some of the plot line that's building up to the end. There's a few points that do happen that I feel like is a little bit drawn out, and then other parts that did happen that I wish was explained more, which is what we were kind of talking about as far as the main antagonist at the very end of the movie. He just wasn't explained well at all. Because he wasn't explained. He wasn't explained, and if you didn't watch the series, like now, granted, I wouldn't expect you to go watch a Demon Slayer movie without watching Demon Slayer the series, but in the event, if you just jumped inside the movie and you saw this particular individual, you're not gonna know who it is at all because he's explained inside the season 1. So there's not any like there's no backstory. There's no. I wish there was even if there was like you saw them and they saw like a flashback of them having that conversation of this particular type of individual, then that would at least bring it a little bit more light to who this person is or who they represent or anything like that.
Yeah, because all they ever really did was like just reference that this person is a part of this group.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah, and you don't know this. You don't know the significance of the group. You don't know anything about. You don't know anything. Even when they were talking about the main villain of the entire series, not even for the movie of the entire series, you don't know who that is because they didn't explain that. They just know that you had the blood of this person on you. And Tanjiro could smell that stuff, and that was it. Like so I wish there's a little bit more explanation as far as for plot building goes. And I know it's intended for people that watch the series, and that's why it's so high for us. I know that IGN, I think it was, that had rated it as 7 out of 10. And I disagree with the 7.
Season 1.
Well, that's why I'm
like. Did they even watch season 1?
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think because remember even though they're major corporations, they only have like 1 or 2 people that's doing the reviews. So if that person didn't actually watch the first season, then so
they might not have watched it. But like, and I will say like, and I don't know if like the manga maybe had a different feel, but I feel like if I were to read a series of events like in the form of a manga, I feel like I probably wouldn't be as nitpicky just because of just the format. Like, I feel like if I were to be reading that in the form of a manga, it would have actually kind of been like, oh, this was that like way out of left field. Like, this is actually kind of neat. Like, this was like really interesting. Like, I had no idea this was going to happen. Like, this is really nuts. Like, I feel like I might enjoy it more from a manga aspect, but I still have to get to that point to make sure. But overall, like I texted you like as soon as I was out of the theater. I was like, easy 9 out of 10.
Yeah, very easy. And David inside the chat says the main explanation you get that in the final villain is the character's reactions. So yeah, and that's kind of. But even so, like even with that, like they know who he is because they were already told that inside the season. They were told that in season 1. So like now as an audience, as a people that's outside coming in, if you've never watched season 1, which again, why are you watching Demon Slayer Mugen Train if you haven't seen season 1? But if you come in just like supporting your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is, you're just there and you want to enjoy the movie with them, you're thinking, all this stuff is cool. There's some explanation to some of the stuff that's going on, even though you may not understand the full grasp of the world. There's at least a little bit of explanation of what's going on, and then bam, final villain comes up, you're just like, okay, who's this? And he's only in it for like the last. Well, let's not say that because that will be a little.
Spoiler. It was just it. Yeah, like I've said, like it just came out of left field. It didn't like feel like it fit really, like because when you think about just like the advertising, the movie, the trailers that we saw, like I mean, even the name of the movie in general was called The Mugen Train. Mm. And so you figured it was going to be all about the Mugen Train, and respectfully, a good chunk of it was. Mm. But there was that last little bit that, again, great fight scene, like great characters. Like I thought it was a really great moment. It just felt like separate from the actual movie. Yeah. Like it just didn't feel like it fit. Like they had, because like the other thing is like we had no idea who this person was. We only had reference of not even that specific person's existence, but like his but that he's a part of this group. And it's just like I wish like they would have done some sort of like foreshadow at the beginning, like even if it was just like a silhouette of him. Like just kind of talking, or like if it was like just like half his face was like, or like the lower, like the top half of his face was covered, but or like maybe all you saw was like a silhouette and then maybe his eye. Maybe you were just hearing him like talk, like just so that way like it would have made sense. So that way by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh, that was the guy, that was the voice at the beginning. That was what we saw over there. Okay, I see how this connects now.
Yeah.
But because they just threw it in there, they're like, ta-da! Here it is. It's like that wasn't part of the trailer. That was what is he doing with the Mugen Train?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the Mugen Train. What are you doing?
And
great scene.
Yeah.
Great action. It was just like it just felt disjointed.
Yeah. I do agree. I mean, it only felt that way if you're looking on the outside in and you never watched it. Because again, like we know because we know that this person is part of this group because we watched the season 1, and so for us that's one of the reasons why it's a 9 out of 10. Even in some cases it could be even a 10 out of 10 to be honest with you, but it's just like it's a 9 out of 10 overall. But if I had to be completely like impartial and give it a full on like rating for everyone to see it, I probably would give it like an 8 or something like that, just because action is great, the build up is great, but then like there's that cliffhanger at the end where it's just like okay, who's this? What's going on here? It's a little bit of a twist. So on here, David MTZ also says something I was appreciative of the movie was some of the scenes they added weren't in the manga. That was cool. So yeah, that's definitely good to see.
Oh, you already know me. Like, as soon as I hear there's a difference between the manga and the anime, I'm in that. I'm all up in that, like, all day. Like, that is what I do. Oh, man.
But yeah, that actually does it here for us on All Day Anime for our first episode on a Saturday, which is actually episode 16. I didn't label it that way because this was just the Mugen Train. Next week, again, we're going to be talking a little bit more about current animes that's coming up. That's going to include My Hero Academia. That's going to include Jujutsu Kaisen. Maybe even a little bit of the hidden dungeon only I can find. We'll have to take a look at that, see what that's going to be about. Have some hidden gems for you, and of course our little celebrity deathmatch. Which I wanted to ask you something about the celebrity deathmatch real fast. Normally we have it for like if it's like Goku versus Vegeta or Vegeta versus Ichigo or whatever. I want to bring in some real life people.
Let's do it.
Do you think Liam Neeson from Taken can beat John Wick?
You know what? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think John Wick has this one.
Okay.
Because while Liam Neeson from Taken does have a particular set of skills, I mean, honestly, like I gotta just, it's John Wick, man. I mean, come on, like you can't go against John Wick. You just can't do that. Liam Neeson, like in Taken, he's a little older, and not to say that like older people, but you know, like he's a little up there in age. No one's taken his daughter.
Yeah,
Like unless like now maybe if John Wick had taken his daughter, maybe, but
I don't know, man. I'll have to get my answer next week. I have to take some time to reflect and think about it because that was something I was thinking about today. It was just a little caveat there. So
I wonder who would be.
David MTZ says, "Nice stream, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate you for tuning in and dropping in." Yeah, like I said, we do this every Saturday. On this coming Monday, we have our Sin segment with Mildewy Carrot and TBF Abyss as they go through Halo. Tuesday is going to be our Alt Things Gaming, where we're going to give gaming news, talk about video games. That's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 7:30. I don't even know why I said 6:30. But 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 7:30. And then we have our Smite Night, which is Thursday night from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. And then back at it like a bad habit next Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all day anime. Second Saturday ever. Until next time, everybody. Control. Alt.
Please.
Peace.